Do you ever cry in the bathroom so no one hears you? Do you keep it together all day, then fall apart when the house is finally quiet? You are not the only one. I've done it too. This video is for the woman who keeps breaking down in private and wonders if anyone sees. Some days, you get through the whole day without letting anything slip. You smile, you cook, you check off the list, and no one would know you're barely holding it together. You pour the coffee with tears in your eyes, but you keep moving. You fold laundry while holding back a wave of sadness you can't name. You text back, "I'm good," when you're anything but. I've done that too. In the kitchen, in the car, on the floor of the laundry room. There were days I'd hang up the phone after a normal conversation and then completely fall apart. It's not weakness, it's weariness. You're not dramatic, you're just tired. And when the world goes quiet, when the house settles down, when no one is pulling at your time or your voice, that's when the tears finally come. Because that's the only safe time you feel like you can fall apart. The kind of crying that surprises you, that doesn't wait for your permission. The kind you hold in all day because you have to, and then release in the dark or in the shower because you have no choice. It's a strange feeling to be capable and competent on the outside and completely unraveling on the inside. And it's such a lonely place to be. Because who do you tell? Who really wants to know that you cried during dishes today? Or that you stood in the pantry just to have a quiet moment to fall apart? But just because your breakdown is quiet, it doesn't mean it's small. You don't need an audience for your pain to be valid. You don't need someone to see it for it to matter. And I want you to know this space, this video, is a place where your private pain is acknowledged, not judged, seen, not measured, held, not rushed. Psalm 56:8 says, "You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle." God doesn't miss the tears you cry in private. He's not blind to the moments when your strength runs out behind closed doors. You don't have to pray perfectly when you're weeping. Tears are our prayer. I remember one of the hardest times of my life when I was homeless. Not once, not twice, but 3 separate times. There were winters I didn't have a kitchen, no safe place to cry, no heater warm in the air, just survival. One time I was living in a shelter with my children. We had nothing but donated clothes and a borrowed crib that barely held together. I taught my kids to whisper, to stay quiet, to make themselves small. Not because they were bad, but because I was afraid of getting kicked out for any reason. My grandmother came to visit me once while we were in the shelter. She looked around at the room, the bare floor, and then told me I needed to give up my baby for adoption. I was pregnant with my 4th child at the time. She said it like it was practical, like it was responsible, like it made sense for someone in my position. I nodded politely, but inside, I was screaming. She didn't know I'd already cried through every option. Stayed up all night staring at the ceiling, wondering how I was going to make it. I was not giving up my baby. I just needed a chance. And eventually, it came. a woman offered to rent me a tiny house, and only if I agreed to attend her church. I said yes, no hesitation. It was the Salvation Army Church. They gave me a $200 voucher. That was my budget to make a house into a home. At first I thought I'd just send my kids on the church bus and get a break for the day. I imagined a quiet Sunday morning to myself. But that's not how it worked. If they went, I had to go too. And at first, I'll be honest, I resented it. But that first Sunday morning, they had pancakes before church. The women there helped me make plates for my kids. One of the teenagers watched them so I could go fix myself a plate. I hadn't had that kind of help in a long time. And something shifted in me. I started going every Sunday morning, Sunday evening, and Wednesday night. I joined the ladies group. I started teaching Sunday school. I even helped with Vacation Bible School. I didn't just find a church. I found belonging. I rededicated my life to the Lord, and everything changed from there. When you've broken down in a shelter or in a car or with your kids sleeping next to you, you don't forget how far you've come, even when you still struggle, even when you still cry. And I'm telling you, if you're breaking down now, you are still seen and you are not forgotten. Sometimes what follows the breakdown is shame. We feel like we should have been stronger. We should have prayed more. We should be more grateful. We should be over it by now. So we keep it inside. So we keep it in. We go silent. We pretend we're okay. Then we get mad at ourselves because we break again. I want to say this clearly. God is not disappointed in you. You are not broken because you cried. You are not weak because you couldn't hold it together another minute. There's no shame in reaching the end of yourself. You're not supposed to carry everything alone. You were never asked to. You're not less spiritual because you're emotional. You're not less faithful because you're tired. The world teaches us to perform strength. God reminds us He works through surrender. Even Jesus wept. It's okay to admit you're tired. It's okay to say you're overwhelmed. And it is okay to stop pretending. There is freedom in finally letting yourself feel what you've been holding back. You're allowed to fall apart. That doesn't disqualify you from being held by God. Sometimes your breakdown is what leads to your breakthrough. Not because it's fixed quickly, but because it's honest. And God can work with honesty. When I say I bake to stay steady, I mean it. When I sweep the floor or do dishes, it's not about keeping a perfect house. It's about keeping my mind grounded. Those routines, making bread, folding towels, lighting a candle, they're not chores. They're lifelines. Some days I cry while the bread is rising, or I cry while I'm buttering a muffin pan, but I still do the next thing. And sometimes doing the next thing is the bravest thing you can do. The world may never see your quiet strength, but heaven sees it. Isaiah 42:3 says, "A bruised reed He will not break." He doesn't crush you when you're already low. He doesn't ask for performance, and He doesn't need a show of strength. He is near, even now, even in this, even when you're barely holding on. And maybe you're not doing big things right now. Maybe you're just keeping the sink clear, or making meals, or keeping the house warm. But that is enough. There's something sacred about the woman who keeps showing up, even in sorrow, who still folds laundry while grieving, who still lights a candle while wondering how she'll keep going. You're not failing. You're faithfully enduring. So maybe you cried today. Maybe you stood over the sink, or sat in your car, or laid in bed and said, I can't do this. Maybe you wiped your eyes and kept going. Maybe you showed up for work, made dinner, helped your kids with homework, answered tests with a smiley face, all while carrying something heavy nobody else can see. And maybe you feel like no one in your life really knows what you're walking through. Maybe your grief is quiet now, but constant. Maybe the loss of your spouse, your health, your home, your hope, whatever it is, still feels fresh, even if it happened years ago. I want you to hear this. You are not invisible. You are not failing. And you are not falling apart beyond repair. There's nothing wrong with you because you cried. There's nothing wrong with you because you still miss what you lost. The world moves on so quickly, but your heart doesn't. And that is okay. Sometimes what hurts isn't just the pain itself. It's the loneliness in it. The feeling that no one notices. That you have to act okay so others won't be uncomfortable. That your sadness is something to hide. But God doesn't turn away from brokenness. He draws near to it. God is still with you even here, even now, even in this breakdown. Psalm 34:18 says, The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. That means you. He is close, not disappointed. He's present, not passive. You're not forgotten. You're not too much. You're not behind. You are allowed to feel everything you feel and still be loved by God. So let the tears come if they need to. Let the silence be what it is. Your presence is not measured by productivity. Your worth is not based on your emotional state. If all you've done lately is survive, that is still survival. And the fact that you're here watching this, breathing through it, that matters more than you could ever know. You don't have to fix everything today. And you don't have to smile for everyone else. You definitely don't have to hide your exhaustion. Your faith is not measured by how strong you feel. It's measured by who you're leaning on. If all you did today was survive, that's enough. And I'm so proud of you. You're still here, and you are not alone. Before we go, I want to say something else, something a little more personal. The stories I share here aren't crafted in a studio or dreamed up in a cozy armchair. They're from my real life, from seasons of survival, from times when I didn't think I'd make it through. If you've ever seen yourself in these quiet moments, if something I've said has made you feel a little more seen, I want to invite you deeper into my story. I've written several memoirs, and each one holds a part of my heart. They're for women like you, the ones who've been through more than they've let on, who carry grief and grit in equal measure, who still believe in beauty even after all they've lost. You can find them over on Amazon. They'll also be linked below in the description. Unbroken from childhood abuse to waking up with a masked intruder standing beside my bed. I write with raw honesty about PTSD, hallucinations, panic, and the quiet daily routines that help me breathe again. Becoming begins in the shadows, in closets, in hallways, in silence. I write about being 7 years old, protecting younger cousins from my father's rage. I share the teenage unraveling no one saw. And I tell the story of what it meant to break, let go, and slowly rebuild a life after loss, after heartbreak, after being institutionalized, and after losing children. This memoir is about starting over, about making a home where there was none, about meeting Tim, my husband, and building a quiet life of routines, safety, and grace. It's for every woman who's ever fought to be seen and who chooses to stay. Behind Locked Doors, this is the most vulnerable book I've written. It tells the story of living with paranoid schizophrenia, PTSD, and the deep fear that no one would ever understand. I write about institutional walls, about being trapped, about what it took to escape, and the terrifying beauty of healing. Paper Wings is my account of surviving an abusive relationship and escaping barefoot and pregnant with toddlers in my arms. It's not loud or dramatic. It's quiet and steady, and filled with the hard-earned truths of what it means to finally say enough. This one is for the woman who stayed too long, for the one who left, for the one still questioning. It's not a how-to manual. It's a companion, a soft light, a reminder that you are not what happened to you. You are who you choose to become next. If this spoke to something tender in you today, I would love for you to subscribe so we can keep walking through the quiet together. If you'd like to read more of my story, you can find all my memoirs on Amazon under my name, Jana Ray. Each one was written during the hardest seasons of my life. If you're healing, searching, or just need a friend for the hard days, those pages are for you. And if you know a woman who's struggling silently, please share this with her. We don't always need to be fixed. Sometimes we just need to be found. I'm so glad you're here. And I'll see you next time.